Hello, I'm Verdi Augusto. This is the Schumann Resonance Harmonics channel on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your being here. I love your support, your comments. Share this video, share all my videos, like, comment on them. Go to videos you haven't seen, comment on them. Keep my numbers boosting. I love you. I'm here. I'm doing a video. This is the 23rd. Well, it's actually midnight, but I'm doing this as the 23rd, roundup of the 23rd of April, 2000, what do we go, 21. I got to look at the calendar. And thank you for being here. On my side over here, where am I? Boop, boop, over there. Oh, sorry, over here is the website in the background, and you can tell it's mine because of the kind of pinkish, lavenderish kind of color, and I want it to be very relaxing and kind of dulcet, if you will. So I've been putting this off. I get a lot to kind of report, but I have a daytime job, and I do this as I'm able. Thank you for those of you who comment, Jackie, Julie, David, Bradley, of course. Blessings to you guys. And the new people, the few of you also that I can't remember by name, but there's a lot of you that come and support my channel when I'm doing videos and I'm around. Hey, if I'm not around, I can't blame anyone for coming over and saying anything, So as I've been kind of healing from my hurt, I just before I always do some introduction here, and I guess I'll just say that today would have been my mom's birthday, 79, I think, if I'm doing the math correctly. She was born in like 42, so this is for all the moms in the world. Who are still out there. I've shared this before. All my family's gone, except for my sister Heather, who's being kept alive through medical science, but all the rest of my family is gone. And, I do this for those few of you who are getting something out of this. Even though I have 2,000 subscribers, I wonder who's actually getting something out of my videos, But when you comment and you tell me something, you ask questions, specific questions, I know you're paying attention and it's worth it. And believe me, everyone's gone. There's not much for me to really, want to do down here. So please, if you've gotten something out of these, comment. I have the website. I've put a lot of work into this in the videos, and so anyway, thank you for those who have come over and said something. I appreciate that, and for those who do get something out of it, thank you. And you tell me, and we are able to talk. I appreciate the interchange, and my guides have told me there's principles involved in this too. I talk about doing this and being involved in the technical and quasi-scientific aspects of this, that there are guiding principles, there's operating principles. And so one of those principles is do the best job you can. Even if no one right now is really here, build it and they will come. That's a principle. And so, don't be held to the results. That's one of the principles. You do the job the best you can. Be upright in what you're doing, but don't hold anyone to the end. And quite honestly, messages of truth and of dealing with things technically and, a fairly logical perspective, yet also, I'm looking at the supernatural, the miraculous, the other side, the esoteric, and I will give you a very realistic, wise opinion from my own experience on this stuff, So there's in this world, there's a range of belief and fact and truth, and really at the end of the day, it only matters what you believe in and where you put your energy. And so I myself am looking at the machinery. I'm a technician, and I'm only allowed the luxury of looking at what is actually present in the data. So I I can't philosophize over this. I have to keep it, that's why I don't talk about this ascension thing or the 5D gamma energy, radio. I look into it, I know what it technically is. And it doesn't matter what a person's belief is. What matters is here, to me, is we look at all of the accepted technical data and we evaluate what we see based on that. And then whatever is left is open to debate or belief or supernatural, okay? But it's really important we don't misappropriate the science and call it one thing that it's not when there's already something that it is, and it's shown the workings and the infrastructure of it. Science isn't perfect. However, there's and I accept that. I talk about that. I talk about the weaknesses, if you will, about the pure science from the abstracted mathematical equation. There's some room for improvement there, we'll say. It is what it is. I'm not rewriting any of that. I'm not reinventing the wheel. What I'm doing here is from the that's kind of where, because I don't know how to read the mathematics and the trigonometry and I got up to algebra 2, and any more than that, I just couldn't follow the math. I couldn't really do it, but I understand the differentials and that kind of stuff. I have a much different perspective on the Schumann resonances than the purely mathematical, symbolic math kind of perspective. I know where that is. I've seen it. I've flipped through it, but that's not what this is. I think my general overall view in this is to give you a reading of the charts and to tell you what the charts say, literally what you're reading on the chart, right? I'm not assuming any more than that, and I think that's why people get a little bit frustrated with me about not going into the medical issues of it, of the ringing. I've made videos on it, though. I've touched this issue, so you can't fault me or fail me for saying, not talking about this hammering, the ascension and 5D and the ringing and the vertigo and, because I have posted plenty enough places about my view on the ascension and all of that to say and for you to know from me clearly that you can ascend regardless of whatever is happening with the Schumann resonances. The Schumann resonances are not yours to hold on to. They belong with the planet, and they're only trying to take your lowest densities away from you, to vibrate them out of you. And if you will let them, remove them by grounding them into the planet, these guys here, ding, 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 and here, ding, 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 will help you. But it's only through the willful act of you releasing your densities, the lowest densities, your fear, the anger, the anxiety, all the things that I will say this, all the things that you believe the Schumann resonances are causing, you got to get rid of them, right? It ain't related to the Schumann resonances, your gastrointestinal disorders. No, it ain't that. Your headaches? No, probably not that, unless it's a sinus headache and your third eye. Nope. You got to check your local electronics first and foremost. Okay. So, having said that as a disclaimer, I'm now into my 10-minute mark, so I guess the lesson can start, and do 10 minutes of introduction, such as it is. All right, so, this is the website. So I have two for today. There was one yesterday. I should have done a video yesterday. You know, I've been busy. There, this is the website. You know, I'm posting on here every day. I see there's a couple new visitors. Thank you for being here. So, you know, this is just kind of a, I guess a video. It's a short video to introduce, you know, the writing that I have here on the website. So this was the first one that I have posted today. More on Cumiana. Hello, what are we doing? Ooh. Yeah, okay, here we go. All right, so, you know, if you go to the website, you can get a bigger picture of this. But we talk about the directional here. All right. And one of the things that just, I guess in a nutshell, that we talk about in this is there's a person who does a reading. They have a channel on YouTube, and this person does a reading on the Schumann resonances. And so one of the points that they were making is that, you know, given the ability to loosely kind of translated, given the ability to make a Schumann resonance antenna, this person said they would like to have more colors represented than Tomsk. Okay. So the point that I've made with this, we didn't have a discussion, but I have, you know, I'm making, and I'm clarifying this now, that more colors on the graph may not help you to understand better what you're seeing. You know, it makes for a nice colorful representation, but what can I get here? All right, so you have, all right, so this is my paint version of this. All right, so you have these colors here. Okay, all right, that's fun. All right, but you're looking at this. What are you looking at? That is the question, and that's what you have to presume going into this, that a color has to match up with something somewhere. You can't just throw color out there because you want to, you know, I made the point, it's not modern art. Right, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic about that, although it may seem that. However, I do wonder, on the flip side of that, what do people think that this is? What do people believe that this is graphing? Right? You know, that's my question to people. What do you think it's metering? It's. Do you think it's a social mood ring? Right? So part of what this is nailing down a color to somewhere on the spectrum. And our spectrum here is the 360 degrees of the compass, okay? And you see these lines, this is where the middle of it is where the actual antenna is laid out. Physically, the two antennas are laid out in this type of a configuration. And I don't know, hold on the other, hold on. Okay, so I will just show you. These are the actual antenna behind the hen. All right, so they're in they're cinder blocks, and you see they're in a cross fashion. Okay, so those are the actual antenna that are making this directional signal. Okay, the one from, you know, I had this as the post from obviously the 22nd. Okay, so I just wanted to show that the configuration of the magnetic induction coils. They're antennas technically, but they are physically magnetic induction coils. All right, so that's one of the things I wanted to point out. Just about that's, you know, I'm right in the writing here below. That's one of the things I'm pointing out. And as we're looking at this, we are seeing that there's this line here of activity. And we're looking at our view meter. Like this is with the red. This red here, red, red, red. But that's what these meters here. It goes from negative 100 to 0. So somewhere around negative 50, about halfway, you start getting into a significant amplitude relative to the two scales here. This one here goes up to 1500 hertz on the vertical frequency. Amplitude is vertical conductivity or vertical frequency. And this one here goes to 15,000 hertz. Okay. So just, you got to remember, this is for seismic activity. Okay, this right here is the geophon. It tells you, all it tells you this right here. This is first channel is the geophon up to 30 hertz, and this is earthquake, right? It's not just frequency, it's what the F-bomb is actually moving. Is it coming at you in a straight line, or is it a wave, right? And that's the difference between a velocity. A velocity is the vertical frequency. It's here, it's intensity, but it's the photonic, it's not a wave, right? That's the voltage, the up and down, the straight up and down, or the column. That's another way they refer to it, as the column. All right, so you got to remember that. And when I try to give a picture of people, I talk about, like out on a playground, you have a flagpole. If you could think of like a maypole, some people are familiar with that, some not. It's a weaving, wefting and weaving, whatever. All right. But a flagpole is the vertical. Okay. It is the voltage. It's what we're calling intensity here. It's measured on the decibel. In the Ohm's law, intensity means something different. Okay, so as we use these words, we nail down what the lexicon of it is relative to the lesson at hand. All right, so intensity is our decibel meter here. The red, basically the navy, the black into the red, with the white marking the halfway point there, the 50%. All right. And so again, this is our seismic meter, and this is 100, 0 to, and it's basically 0.3. It doesn't start at 0, obviously. It starts at 0.3 to 105 hertz here. Okay, so this is mostly VLF. Okay, so I was on a train of thought, and then I lost track of it. Oh yeah, so the flagpole. All right. So that's the vertical, the amplitude. Basically, you see lightning go from the sky to the ground. It's kind of crooked. It's like tree branches or roots, or it's kind of broken up like that. It's a natural shape that it deltas out. Okay, so that's the essentially the flagpole. And that's amplitude. The magnetics, which are quality, are like a seesaw, if you will. That you have a central fulcrum point, which is where the flagpole would be, okay? And then as it kind of goes, it flies, if you will. It's not really flying, but you can picture it going through the air. It's kind of flying. And as it's going through the air upright, you picture the seesaw going on its side, that the waves going out laterally that way out into the atmosphere. And eventually, as the column of electricity starts falling from the upright into, a direction, into a current, it's gone from a charge upright into a current, goes out laterally like that, you start degrading into the magnetics, or that's why they call it the quality, is the degradation or the degrading into a direction. Okay, you've gone from a charge, a pure, as it comes down, there's a word for it. It's in its pure form. From coming down. All right. So so as it propagates forth and does the teeter-totter seesaw thing, it degrades into quality, or the quality degrades into current. And so that's where we are. The current conditions At Tomsk. Okay. All right. So you see, you got to look at the time. All right. This is the middle of the day. I want to point this out. Like you see this, the middle of the day. This is like 12 o'clock, right? The high points here. All right. This is in Italy, Cumiana, northern Italy. Cumiana. Northern Italy, and you can see, you got to look at the diurnal variation of the day. It fluctuates, and you get these peaks when the D layer of the environment tightens up. It's like a drum. I've described this as a drum head, and the sun or the IMFs are beating on us. Okay, that's the interplanetary magnetic field. Is the IMF. All right, so it's not international money, international monetary fund. No, no, no. So you can see that at the same time of day. This is 12 o'clock. It lines up at 12 o'clock. So they give you, like, I don't know. This is 2, 4, 6, 8. I think this is 8 hours. This is a saved multi-strip. They call that. It's a saved truncated version from the last 5 days, last week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? All right, whatever. So this is the amplitude portion of that. Okay, this is the magnetics over here. This is the magnetics, and that's the multi-strip of the magnetics as well. So this right here is the current right there, the last today, basically. And then this is a history of what's been there, and that's as well as this. So this is the magnetic portion of that, and this is the seismo. All right, so this right here is the seismo here. So this is the history of that, okay, just so you want. And then this right here is basically the history of this. All right, so that's what you're seeing down here. Excuse me. So this right here, what you're seeing is up to like 25. I wrote all this out in here already, so I'm just going over what I wrote already. So this is up to like 25 or maybe 30 hertz, and this is electric. Remember, this isn't magnetic, so this is the vertical frequency, the conductivity in the red, right? You're looking at the scale. Well, not that red, but this is the seismometer for the colors here, just so we know. This is the colors for the seismo, all right, this color band here. And then the amplitude, the decibel, this is a decibel scale, okay? So this goes from basically blue to red, or black. It almost is black, close enough, black to red, all right? So you got to look at it that way. This is the electric chart. This is electric, this is electric, this is seismo, this is seismo. These are little, this is a view meter. That's a view meter, which is volumes per unit, I believe. I got to look that up. I keep throwing out that word, but it's like, is that what it is? Did I remember that correctly? Anyway, all right. And this is a little different scale. This is not a view meter. This has got another name for. I'm calling it a directional, but I'm not sure if that's even what the right proper phrase is. I think what this is FFT, maybe. I have no idea what the name of this is, but I'm calling it a directional. It's a very colorful scale, and this is to emphasize the point of having more colors. But what are you looking at? All right. So that's the okay. So that's the kind of the lesson of the directionals has to do with color, and and the thing is, my humble kind of suggestion, or my humble kind of viewpoint on this is that before getting more fancy, know the basics. Learn the basics first. What do we have already established? How do you read properly what's already established based on the information on the chart itself? This is always how I've been from day one. What are you looking at? Not just the readings, but I am consistently on people's cases about getting a whole complete picture to it. Get the complete data. Okay. So that's the first most important thing. That's what I'm here to do, is to give you the whole and complete data. Okay. So this is there's a lot more to this here. Like I said, I'm explaining this, and I explain also FFT. Okay, so that's important. You know, this is part of what we're looking at. Okay, this is the abstract. This is an article here. It's very interesting. A deterministic approach to earthquake prediction by Maitam Rahmati. And there's the website for that. And it talks about the deterministic approach to investigate possible earthquake prediction and warning. Okay, boom. All right. So this is interesting. And here they're talking about satellite, low Earth orbit satellites. All right. This is something I got to readopt this. I wrote this and I pulled it in from some other thing that's, you know, I think I'm gonna, I get to finish writing that. All right. So this is literally the transcript of everything that the Cumiana website has on it that comes with these pictures. All right. Just so you know, that's there. Oh, I get 2 views already. Oh, thank you. Wonderful. All right. So, that's what's up with this particular illustration, and I put my name on it because I make these. You know, I put them together. Now this one here, when I do just the capture, I put the image source as Tomsk. This isn't, you know, that's a capture, you know, so that's not mine. I don't put my name on these, just for what it's worth, you know. The ones that I put together take like 2 hours. Some of them can take more. Right, I got to write all the text for this. You know, it takes a while. So, all right. So I just want to talk about this, you know, kind of briefly. I guess this is a 2-part thing, but this is the update. This is today's update. So this is what I've done today on the website. You know, Cumiana. I like having the comparison between what does it say in Italy versus Russia, Cumiana, versus the Russians, Tomsk. All right. All right. So, one of the things that, like, when I talk about the Schumann resonances and a lot of these phenomena, you know, we try to talk about what's real and what's correct. And it can be difficult to get past the myths, the rumors, the half-truth, you know, what's real. And this is one of those great examples of this. The data void. What is the truth with the data void? And this is what we're calling the data void, is this big blackout. People call it a flat line. People call it a blackout, you know. Some people whimsy this to be a timeline shift. You may or may not have heard that. And if you haven't heard of it, then please disregard ever hearing anything about that. And as I talk about that, you know, that you can't empirically, objectively prove a timeline shift in any way, shape, or form. So it's easy to pull this otherwise unexplainable phenomena into your realm of proof to show this thing here, what you couldn't otherwise prove anywhere else. Right? You couldn't, I mean, I've talked about this. I posted it, I think I'm going to have to actually do a video on this because I've written about it, I've blogged about it, but I haven't done a video about this, you know. But so just for right now, I'll keep a little bit more, you know, on pace because I've written specifically about this, that one of the things is that we need to look at, as technicians, as observers, right? Really important. This is from the observer of just looking at what you got. You have to look at the most simple explanations of what happened first. And so as a technical-minded person, okay, this is the technical perspective of this, as a technician, right, of any, electronic equipment. You got to remember, this is electronic equipment. It's an antenna. I got, like, let me show you something. Okay, so that is a cropped shot of me in the studio with the electronics and whatnot behind me. So that's a gift from the universe, but I'm just giving you a kind of update on the studio setup. I think I was making the point of saying that, I know what I'm talking about when I'm, uh, talking about electronics and getting all this stuff to work, certainly from my own snafus of recording and forgetting to turn the sound back on, checking the microphone, making sure the levels, everything are on, looking at the gauges and everything before, assuming that we're ready to go live, and doing the last minute check. So that's one of the reasons why, I've made this point before, that's one of the reasons why you want to have an autonomous system. And there are articles where they talk about autonomous systems, autonomously running recording systems. Let me see if I can find you such an article right now. Okay, so yes, speaking of which, I have found such an article. All right, so this is again on the Schumann Resonances website, which I have here, Schumann Resonance Harmonics, because, well, that way it's going with the YouTube channel and the Facebook thingamabobber. But the actual domain name is Schumann-resonances.com. And fairly soon I'll have the Schumann Resonance Harmonics as well. I'm going to kind of corner the market on Schumann Resonance websites, domain names, I think. I'm kind of thinking of it. Yeah, I mean, as popular as it is, man, if you don't know how to get a domain, you come and see me, and whatever. I'm not saying more about that. Anyway, all right, so onward and upward. This here is basically, it's from the same place as I get a lot of the Cumiana, all the other updates. It's this is actually from a website, but the link will take you to vlf.it, and there's a bunch of information. There's a somewhere here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so there's a link there. If you go click on this, pow, you get, this is the original article. So I didn't put all the, all this stuff in there, but, he's talking about, this is the guy, he runs the Cumiana. I'm trying to remember his name. I should remember his name, but I can't. And I didn't even put it here. All right. So I'm trying to, okay, it's whatever. I'm trying to remember his name. Ronaldo, that's it. Who does the Cumiana. So, look at that. A cool studio. He's got some radio receiving information there. So check out, the Schumann Resonances website. You can find this and other interesting things. And I have this right here under the sensor readings portion of my website. So I have home-based Tomsk and all this information and stuff. The blog, that's where we just were at. Okay. So, so read more about the data voids, because my position here for my channel, and for the Facebook, whatever else I'm doing, is that you can't assume anything more than what you know, right? I mean, even if you know something, if you're not there, you got to talk to the actual scientists that are there, and they publish information, but it's in Russian first and foremost, and they're like keynote speakers. It's very difficult to find symposium papers from Tomsk, SOS, and I'm still looking, but it takes a little while, because they're kind of they're not in the limelight. And like I said, they run mostly, Tomsk is mostly run by graduate students. and they're just trying to get their degree. So you got to find the graduate students who are now out there posting and blase b. All right, so this really, I think I'm actually at the point of calling this done, this update done, and this is, I think, is actually an official short video because it's around 35 minutes, and I'm saying goodbye at under 35 minutes. Right. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. So I'm going to post this. I think the links are, there and everything, and just much love, positivity, radiating out to you. None of this is, there's solar stuff going on, and I have this up here. I'm going to give that another, as another update because there's some big solar stuff going on that should be talked about in its own place, So this is about the two last posts I've done in my blog. Relevant, go over there, check them out. The space weather with the CMEs and all the stuff coming in. It's a discussion for another time, and it's now in the 24th, and so it's a perfect, thing to talk about for the 24th. So anyway, on that cheery note, and that bedraggled exit, thank you all for coming here and viewing this. You're the reason I'm doing this, believe me, to hopefully a few people, there's, 6 of you. Hopefully you're learning something. 10, the terrific 10, thanks. Anyway, all right. Onward and upward. Thank you all for being here. And, I'm trying to make a video as I'm able to. Things at work have gotten a little bit calm. There's another person who's helping out, and my friend Alex. In fact, Alex is helping me out at my day job with the land, the property stuff and the maintenance. And anyway, I'll have to do a live stream with him, and we can update you on what we're doing. All right, so that's it for now. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate the love and the support, and just have a great rest of your day. Just give me a comment, send me something positive, and I'll say something positive back to you. Much love. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.